Right, so hello and welcome to yet another episode of Cars and Engineering. In today's episode, I'm going to be fitting a reconditioned aircon pump to the Polo. Stay tuned. Right, so as I said in the intro, this is a reconditioned aircon pump. It doesn't look too great because it's literally just been taken off from a car that's already been on the road, so it looks a little bit grubby. But as you remember in the previous video, it'll be up here somewhere, I had to delete the aircon, not have choice. The actual clutch inside here went. So what I did was got a non-aircon belt and put it on the car, which I'll show you in a minute. But now it's getting a bit hot in the UK and I want aircon back. So we're going to be fitting this today and then regassing the aircon as well, and also fitting the new pump, or the new belt, sorry, to run the pump. Right, so first things first, we've got to remove the old pump with the broken clutch. And to do that, I need to use a pin to then re-pin the tensioner to get the old belt off. Right, so first of all, I've got to take off this turbo pipe. Very easy, just 7mm. Try not to break anything while I'm there. Right, so this down here, I don't know if you can see it, that's the tensioner. So if I can get a 15mm spanner on there and pull it back, that's the little pinhole here where I can put the pin in and detension the entire belt. Right, just got to move this water pump out of the way. Get the spanner on. So that's detensioning itself. There's the hole, the first hole. Right, so now that's detensioned, you can see how it's pulled back and the pin's in there. I can pull the old belt off. I don't want to pull it off too much though, I want to make sure I get the orientation right when I put it back in, or the actual, how the belt runs. So you can see that's the smaller one. That's the smaller belt with no aircon. Now I'll show you the bigger one with aircon. So the middle one is the smaller one. That's the bigger one for the air conditioning. So down here in the bowels of the engine, you can see this is the air conditioning pump. It doesn't sound, well, it sounds a bit knocky, you can hear it, but you can see where the old one's failed. It'd be better to see when it's off the vehicle itself, but first of all I've got to take off these two aircon pipes. There's one there, you can just see it, and there's one just down here. Once they're off, they go here. So they go here and here. The aircon pump sits like that, I believe, on the vehicle. But you're looking at it like that. So as long as this is the right one, this should go onto that. If not, then that's the video over. So let's get these 3 bolts out to get these out and go from there. Right, so to get to this first bolt, just down here, you have to use a really long socket, like a union jaw on the end. So we'll get her off and then we can move on to the next one. Got to make sure it locates properly. So that's located in there, now I've just got to crack it off. Right, so the next one is going to be a bit of a pain. You can just see my socket bit there, so that's got to come out there. That one's already out, just got to pull the pipe off, check the O-ring. So yeah, I'm going to get probably a spanner or something on that, crack her off, and then we'll be able to get the bolts and actually remove the old air compressor unit from the car. Right, to make it easier for ourselves as well, we're going to remove that little bracket there. It's quite rusted, so that's going to allow us to move the pipe out of the way a little bit. Right, so now we're under the car well. Now, that plug there connects to the actual aircon pump itself. There you can see like a lower bolt. That plug needs to be disconnected before we remove the bolts in case you damage them. So that plug's going to be taken off, and then I can remove the 3 bolts to get the compressor out. Right, so as you can see there, the plug is disconnected. Now it's just getting the 3 bolts undone, and then the aircon unit should just fit through this little gap here. Right, so that's the 2 lower bolts. There's one there, there's one there. Now I need to go to the top to get to the upper bolt, and then this aircon compressor should kind of just fall out of the car. There is another little bracket there that I've got to take off. Right, so it turns out that bracket there actually is part of the engine support, or that there's like a bracket that attaches to the block, so I don't need to touch that at all. The threaded inserts there, goes onto there, so that don't need to be touched. So I don't know if you can see it. That right there, just above the yellow sticker, that is the other bolt to get to. Right, so that's that top bolt out there. Now, just got to get a pry bar and get the actual compressor out. Right, so here we have the two air compressors, or the air conditioning compressors, side by side. This is the one that's just come with the car, this is the one that's going on the car. You can see here that that's not too happy, and you can see the movement, so that pulley's dead, whereas this one's okay. So worst case scenario, if this compressor is shot and can put, that pulley can come off. I know that compressor works, the only thing wrong with it is this pulley. That pulley can go on this compressor, and then we have this one working. But I've been assured this one's working, and it's apparently been reconditioned inside. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. We're going to find out. Okay, so this one's off, that one's on. Great. What I will say is this system was drained of all air conditioning gases before I took any pipes off. Make sure, it's very important, you don't want to be handling gas or anything like that. And obviously if you're recharging aircon units, if you don't know what you're doing, go to a garage, go to a professional, because you can hurt yourself and you can hurt others around you. Right, so from the looks of it, they both look pretty much the same. The part numbers are the same, except for one letter on the end. This one ends in a P, this one ends in a J. The J one's going on, the P one's just come off, but they shouldn't be too different. I'm just going to blow this out of an airline, get any shit out of it, and then we can put it back on the car. Right, I'm just going to prep the new one, or the reconditioned one, with a little bit of washing up liquid. See, some people will moan about this, but it'll help the O-ring seat in there nicely, and it won't harm the air conditioning system. I've done this for years, never had anything go wrong. I've had more go wrong with not using Very Up liquid than I have using it. Right, so that is the new one in. You can see, obviously had a little repair to the wiring loom. That's plugged in. That bolt's located, that one's located. Just need to now get the actual aircon connectors on and make sure they're aligned and tight. Bolt it all back up, put the belt on, and then see if we have aircon again. Right, so that is the top bolt in there. I've located this aircon pipe, the big one. Now I've just got to locate the little one here. There's a little dowel that it sits on. Once that's on, that can then be bolted in, and then we can put the belt back on, and then we can regas the car using the high pressure and low pressure connectors. Right, so that's the first one, all done up and tight. Second one's located, just got to get a socket on that. It's going to be quite difficult to see, but this is the second pipe here. Got to do that P-clip up as well, which is here. Once it's up, like I said again, belt can go on, then we can test it to make sure we've got aircon. Right, so that P-clip is back on. The connectors, high pressure and low pressure, are back on, and they've been torqued down to spec. All we've got to do now is put the belt on and then fire the car up. Well, so you put this pipe on as well, fire the car up and then see if we have any aircon. Right, I'm not sure if you can see down there, but the belt is on. I've got to now detension the pulley itself by taking that pin out, the reverse of what we done earlier, and then we can regas the car and then start the car and see if we have any aircon. Right, so that's the belt back on. It's sitting nice and square in all the pulleys. It's got a nice bit of tension on it. Now we can use the nozzles to regas, or first of all vacuum test to make sure there's no leak in the system, and then regas the aircon system. Right, so in the aircon system you have a low pressure, which is blue, and a high pressure, which is red. Right, so under this cap here, this is the smaller of the nozzles, which is low pressure. So then the low one in the closed position, so it'll be up, can attach onto that. Right, so that's on, and the high pressure's here, which is a big one. That'll come off. Keep them lids safe because it stops all dust and stuff. And the high pressure, which again is in the closed position, can go on the high pressure. Right, so this is the aircon machine. So we want to do a vacuum to see, only for about 10 minutes, to make sure. So connect and open high pressure, low pressure couplings to the AC system and press enter. So got to turn them dials. Right, so where it says closed and open, you've got to open it by pushing it down, which opens the Schrader valve inside. See the hear the hiss? So that's now open. This one here, that's now open as well. Right, so now they're open. Click enter. The valves on the side of the machine need to be open. They're already open. Now it's going to start, and it's going to pull over. So there's a presence of refrigerant. So you got to escape. So what we're going to do, recovery and recycle first. Then do that, and it's going to suck any old refrigerant out. I've already done this, but if it's detecting refrigerant, it's going to be weird about it. But that should say 0 and stay at 0. Right, so far it's recovered 17 grams. So I don't know where that's come from. This has been drained regardless, and then now it's recovering some oil. Hopefully there isn't any of that. Tank temperature, that's just a tank. But what this hasn't flagged up with, saying that there's a vacuum detected, or there's no vacuum detected. So the system is sealed as far as this is concerned at the moment, but we will do a vacuum test anyway to confirm there's no leaks. Right, so as you can probably hear, this thing is beeping like mad. It actually recovered 46 grams from the car, even though it's already been sucked out. So I don't know where that's come from, but that's all done. Now we can give it a vacuum test for, say, I'm going to put 15 minutes. It's the average time. Leave it on the vacuum, and then that will detect any leaks. So we'll come back in about 15 minutes, make sure there's no leaks. If there is a leak during that time, this will cancel the vacuum test and say there is a leak in the system. Right, so again, it's beeping at me. It's been vacuuming for 15 minutes. We click enter. Right, so now we can put the charge amount in, which is 550 plus or minus 25 grams, so I go to 560. And then the oil, 25 millilitres. I'm going to do a vacuum time of 1 minute because we've already vacuumed it. Oh, 2, okay then, because this machine's only got me. Enter. So it's going to say you've not done 15 minutes of vacuum time. We've already done that. So we click yes, everything's open. Click yes again. And then it's going to start up and recharge the aircon. So again, 2 minute vacuum. It's at minus 99 bar, which is about 13 psi, or minus 13 psi. It's going to vacuum it just to double check there's no leaks, and then it will charge it, add oil, do another check, and then we'll be done. Right, so now it is adding the oil. So that's 25 mil, 100% done. So now it's going to start up, and it should. There you go, look. That's the gas going in. So for some reason it stopped short, so it should put a little bit more in there. There you go. Just topping it up just to get to 560. There you go, bang on, 560, 6 bar, dual detector pressure, yes for okay. So now I've got to close the high pressure and the low pressure valves. Disconnecting these is the opposite of removal or fitting. So left is loose, so it pulls the pin up and closes the valve, and then the valves can be disconnected from the car. go back in here. Now it's going to tell us to wait for a minute because it's going to drain all the gases out of the hose, and that should be it really. Right, so now it's purging all of that gas out of the hoses. Right, so now we can put the caps back on, which are very handy. They stop any dirt and grime going into the actual aircon unit itself, or the actual fitment nozzle. Right, now we've got to do is just check which sides are on. We've just got to go in the car and check to make sure the aircon's getting nice and cold. Right, let's turn the car on. Come down, AC button's on, we're on cold, we're only on 2, and it's coming through a lot colder than it was before. Now you have to take my word for it, because obviously I can't show you right now. I've got a temperature gauge indoors specifically for aircon systems, so if I get that, I'll do a little outro when I get back to the garage. Right, so here we are in the car with the aircon on, and then on number 2 and cold. I've actually got my temperature gauge now, so we want it to get in the green zone. I don't know if you can see that or how well you can see that. Have a little look. So yeah, the aircon's only just been turned on, but it's slowly going down. You want it obviously in the green zone to say that the aircon is lovely and cold. Give that a few minutes. Oh look, it's going in there now, let's see. There we go. So it's about 3 or 4 degrees. I think it's dropping a little bit more, but that's to say that the aircon is fully gassed and working exactly how it should. So as always, thank you very much for watching. As always, please subscribe, please like, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.